Hello and welcome. According to my book, we will be discussing plus size clothing and clothing that's plus sized. If you've been an internet user for the past 15 to 20 years, such as myself, you've seen a lot of communities rise and fall on the internet. For me, one community I've always been somewhat privy to has been the plus size community. I was there when it was first burgeoning on the internet, especially on YouTube in a really big way. There were a lot of try on hauls, dressing room try on hauls, lookbooks, which are my personal favorite, and tons of collaborations. And when I say collaborations, it wasn't just a link in bio situation. YouTubers would collaborate with other YouTubers, usually in person. They would also collaborate with companies. And when I say collaborate, I mean flued out, expenses paid henny, hotel stays, exquisite meals, taking tours of headquarters, meeting COO type people, heads of marketing, heads of fashion. It was a whole thing. Now, in my formative years, trends mattered a lot, like it usually does for people who are middle and high school age. However, and thankfully, the grip that trends used to have on me is not as strong as they used to be. But the internet continues to waft pure pressure nostalgia. Back in the 2010s, a lot of plus size influencers were happy that they were actually finding clothes in stores, even if it was just one store. And not happy as in settling, but more happy that things were changing. I mean, I remember the first plus size store to open within a 30-mile radius of me was a Forever 21, and it was a huge deal. These plus size influencers at the time really pushed for the expansion of options for the average plus size person. Whether it be online, in stores, like them all, also different types of clothing, prints, patterns, things that were properly made for the plus size body. Now, of course, that could just be my nostalgic haze of what happened, because in comparison to today's times, it's a lot different. Fast forward to the 2020s, a lot of the plus size problems of the past have largely been solved. So, what do you do if there's no more problems? You make up a new one? There seems to be a huge push with the new vanguard of the plus size community to wear clothes that are plus sized, but not clothes made for the plus size body. For instance, mini shorts. Whose bright idea was that? If you are a person of the Thunder Thigh community, then you absolutely understand that it is uncomfortable to wear shorts with little to no inseam, which I guess would be a skirt. But you know what I mean. And if you decide to wear the shorts, then you have to use some type of chub rub cream or some type of lubrication in order to keep the skin from the inside of your thighs from rubbing against each other. And having to think of all of that just to wear clothes, that's just a little too much for me. For me. And I'm not saying that plus size people cannot wear shorts, but what I am saying is that whoever's marketing genius idea was to convince a bunch of plus size people to buy shorts with very small inseams just so they can kind of skirt around the craftsmanship of making shorts for thunder-thighed individuals. They're making a lot of money. It's easy to underestimate how much better you look when you're comfortable. And I don't mean just wearing sweats. You can be fashionable and have comfort, but you have to buy clothes for you. That may not necessarily be on trend. But trust me, you look best when you don't have to pretend. Okay, Dr. Seuss. I think one of the consequences from the new guard of the plus size fashion community is that they put all their eggs in one basket about finding trends in their sizes. But if they can't find them, then they throw a fit. And may the universe forbid that one particular trend doesn't come in your size or that isn't as easily accessible in person than online, because then the brand or the people who make the clothes would be considered fatphobic, which I guess is the worst thing you can be in 2024. Now, there are a lot of reasons to rag on fashion companies, especially in 2024, whether it be for moral reasons, like Balenciaga, or environmental reasons, like fast fashion. So don't get me wrong, the fashion industry isn't just so perfect that we can only complain about sizes being available or not. It's just that I find it interesting that some people's whole brands online is focusing on whether they can find very specific things or niche things in their size at a store in their hometown. But I digress. In the end, it leaves you, the influenced and the consumer, to spend money on clothes typically low quality that are not made for the plus size person. And because they're not made for the plus size person, they deteriorate faster, meaning that you have to buy the clothes at a faster rate, spending more money just to stay on trend until the next one comes along. Now, I am not an anti-trend advocate. Some trends are nice because they open up people's imaginations to the beauty and wonders that can be had through fashion. But what I am is anti-BS. Just because one particular thing is not in my size, it's not the end of the world, and it won't be the end of yours. With that being said, thank you so much for watching, and remember, you are not a trend, but it's okay to slay.